Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day today. We're going to go ahead and we're going to just jump right in. We've got Nick, and Nick, I'm not going to massacre your last name. We've had this before, said before, and I'm not even going to try. Go ahead and introduce yourself, but let me tell everyone my information and Nick's information is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Of course, there's also, if you have any questions and need tech support and support, that's all scrolling across the bottom of the screen also. If something happens and you need to reach either myself or Nick, just go ahead and reach out to us. So Nick, kind of introduce yourself. One of the things I'm going to point out is, Wooddale is a suburb of Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, right, Nick?
That's right. So my name is Nick Mahalik here. I'm the technical support manager with Magic Chef. We are located right outside of Chicago in Wooddale, Illinois. And we're here to provide as much information about our products to not only you guys, but to our customers as well. So we do have a facility in Wooddale, which we do have stock of parts, units, and our technical support accounts administration team is here as well.
Okay. And then Nick, I'm gonna go ahead and advance. I'm going to go ahead and advance over to the other part of the presentation. Here's the address that Nick is at, the 940 North Central Avenue in Wooddale. Nick, I'm going to let you go through these slides. So I'm just going to be the person that advances them. So here's the information for MC Appliance Corporation. Next.
All right, so for Magic Chef, we do have a few pieces to our business, right? We have a Magic Chef residential side, which we have compact refrigerators, small freezers, our laundry products. We have anywhere from front load washer dryers, combo units, top load units. We also have gas and electric cooking equipment. So we'll have those flat tops, we'll have the griddles, ranges, ovens. All that would be in our residential side.
Okay. So you said that I see that you have wine and beverage coolers, and then you have top load and front load washers. So you have both, just like almost everybody else in the industry. Now, you've got a front load dryer. The one we're going to go that we have the class on today is your smaller dryer, and that is 110 volts, correct?
They are here. So all of our compact dryers are going to be ventless. So they're all going to be 110 units. You can plug them in anywhere. We also have laundry stackable units as well, where you could stack this unit on top of a washing machine, a top load washer. So, I mean, our units are meant to be used anywhere you can.
Okay. Do you have a lot of, just a question, do you have a lot of like RVs, trailers, that kind of thing?
Yes, absolutely. These units, especially these small compact dryers, are going to be found in RVs, condos, apartments, smaller facilities here. You'll also see some of them that are even used in a commercial setting as far as a laundromat. You know, you'll see some of these because they're smaller units, so somebody doesn't want to use a very large dryer to dry a couple of towels. So these are going to be perfect in those scenarios. Also, single family homes, you could put these in and you'll have no problems plugging them in anywhere you need.
Right. So if I had an example of that would be like I have a closet, because these are ventless.
That's right.
I have a closet in the home that's in the master bedroom and I can put this in the master bedroom closet. And if I just wanted to freshen up some towels or had just a really small load, I could put them in there and put them in this closet. The one thing that everybody needs to remember, though, is this does increase the drying time because A, it's 110 volts, and B, because just the size of the unit and the ability. You can't put 5 pair of jeans in this dryer. So that everybody has to be cognizant of that issue. Now we're going to move on. They also have commercial appliances. Nick, I'm going to let you go ahead and talk about your commercial line. So if I'm a technician and I'm looking to reach into the commercial side, you're a perfect example of reaching in and being able to do both commercial and regular residential laundry.
Absolutely. Here, our team has handled all of our appliance lines. So we'll have the commercial appliance as well, like Mitch was saying. So all of our commercial units, as far as refrigeration, are going to be R290 units. So the type of refrigerant on those are going to be R290. We used to have R134A and R404. Obviously, everybody's kind of switching with the time. So we'll go ahead and have the reach-in refrigerators. We do not have walk-ins. So freezers as well, glass doors, solid doors. We also have ice makers, anywhere from a 90 pound all the way up to a 500 pound, with a 350 pound dispenser as well. So you're going to see those a lot in hotels, motels. You'll have 1 or 2 on every floor. Those are going to be fantastic, even for home use. So if you're a local fisherman, we see those out on marinas. That they're going to fill up their ice bins and take them out. But as far as the commercial line, we have a wide range of products. So prep tables, chef bases, sandwich tables. I mean, there's a ton of products. We have about 60 products in our Nord Pole commercial side, which is our refrigeration side.
Okay. And kind of give us, what is a chef base?
Yep. So a chef base is a smaller drawer unit. It's a refrigeration drawer pretty much, which has a few pull-out drawers, which holds full-size food pans. Mm-hmm. And what people will do is they'll put griddles and flat tops on top of these. So if you're a restaurant, you're cooking burgers, I mean, it's going to be a lot easier to reach down below, grab the patties out and toss them right in instead of having to walk to a bunch of places to get that. So there are small cabinets that are refrigerated cabinets.
Right. Okay. And then your bar coolers are just basically a commercial refrigerator with no freezer, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, you'll see those behind the backs of bars as well. So there'll be glass door units. You'll be able to display whatever product you have. So they're also nice units here. They also have kegerators. So we'll have those beer tap systems where you'll be able to have a 2 or 4 tap kegerator system.
Okay, is that a little small mini cooler that you literally? That personally is not a. That's something I could actually have in my home, which I did have in my home whenever I was married. Was a kegerator, and I could have either 1, 2, or 3 taps on that kegerator. So it's kind of, I could even use that as a, if I was, if I still own my restaurant, and that would be something that I could use. One thing about a kegerator like that, it makes it very portable. Okay. Everything I need is in that kegerator. All I need is a plug. So a lot of people that are doing, I just was at a wedding about 2 weeks ago, and they had a kegerator, and that's the way that they had the keg beer. That way they didn't have to have just a cooler. with beer in it.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes in handy, especially like you said, it's a portable solution as well. So that all of our Nord Pole appliances, they have either leveling feet or they have the option of putting casters on them. So it makes it easily accessible to move wherever you need to go.
Exactly. Okay. So let's talk about Magic Chef commercial appliances.
Yes, so our Magic Chef commercial side is our hot side. So these are going to be for the commercial environment. You'll have the char broilers, fryers, hot plates, griddles, gas ranges, and convection ovens. So there's going to be a wide range of hot cooking appliances that are going to be versatile. So you'll be able to use these really anywhere in either a restaurant, gas stations, small businesses. They'll have these in there quite a bit.
Okay. Can you tell what exactly is a char broiler? I don't know that everybody knows what that is.
Yeah, I mean, a char broiler is just pretty much a grill top cooking appliance. So think of it as a large grill.
Okay. Is it kind of like where would that be something like what am I looking at? Burger King uses? Is that a char broiler?
Yes. So yeah, they'll have those there. I mean, you'll see them on a lot of smaller restaurants where they're throwing, burgers and things like that on them, steaks. Something to get those grill marks. They're going to have the cast iron grates that are going to go on the top of it. Mm-hmm. So you'll be able to have a constant heat source, and they hold heat very well.
Right. So you're thinking a lot of these probably you have a good range, and those also are available for like a food truck.
Absolutely.
Could be something that these guys. So it would be a portable, and you would have to. Me being the servicer, I would have to go to the food truck, depending on where the food truck is at. If it's at the house or the location, or they could actually be on site. So that's something that a technician would have to be aware of.
Correct. Yeah. Sometimes you'll actually have the benefit of having these food trucks that have these equipment in there come to you. So if you do have a shop, have them come straight to you. You'll be able to make the repairs in your shop. If not, I mean, that's fine too. You'd be able to locate the food truck and work on it at any time at that point. Also, any of our cooking equipment, they range from a 24-inch all the way to a 48-inch. So there are going to be smaller units that they could fit in those food trucks. And we also have the large appliances that'll be able to go into a full-size restaurant.
Okay. So here's kind of your major retailers. I'm just going to let you go ahead and take over here.
Absolutely. So all of our Magic Chef appliances are going to be available through Home Depot, Amazon, Walmart.com, and we also have Lowe's.com. So you'll be able to find those. Also, if you're in the hospitality section, we do work with distributors for the hospitality side. So you'd be able to order those as well through either Almo, Petra, places like that. Also, our customer support team, we have a team of 7 members. So the benefit of having a team that is small is that we're able to do large amounts of training. So we train on all of our Magic Chef products, whether if it's the commercial hot side, the refrigeration side, or the residential side. We have a team here that we dismember all of the appliances itself. We run through troubleshooting, how they sound, what to look for. Everything is handled in-house. We do also have a team of 4 on the offshore side, which is going to handle more of the dispatching and back-end data entry. So another good thing with our technical support team, which I will lead, and we do also have another member that is very good. We'll also have video capabilities. So if you're on site and you need help with any of our appliances, you could hop on a video call with us. We'll direct you on what to check and what the ohm rating should be, whatever the case needs to be. Also, any of our customer service reps here, the CSRs, are going to be available from 7:30 a.m. Central all the way to 6 p.m. If you guys do need a part, we're able to ship these parts out same day. Parts are available through either encompass.com or you'd be able to go through partstown.com. Either of those two will have all of our parts. Also, so if you guys do need parts, whether if it's warranty or not, if you haven't signed up with us to become an authorized service center, you're going to get those dealer discounts on parts regardless if it's in warranty or not in warranty. So that's another benefit of having a sign in for us, so to do warranty work. We're also going to be passing out of warranty work to you guys as well. So if you do sign up, don't think it's just going to be for warranty work. We're going to send customers your way regardless of in warranty or out of warranty. I could tell you if it is in warranty and you're doing a warranty claim for us, we do have an in-house portal claim, which all of them are net 30. You're going to get paid in that 30 days. That's
great. That's something that as a business owner, and I have my own shop, that's something that I look for is a net 30. Now, one of the other things that I want to back up just a minute, you have Saturday hours for parts. You have an 8 to 5 parts person that will answer.
Correct. Yes. If you end up reaching out through Partstown, we actually have a team there as well, which will direct you and find any part that you need. So if you do need that help with ordering parts or part numbers, they'll be able to help you out and get those parts out that day as well. So Saturdays are big. Not every company's open on Saturdays to do that for you. So we want to make sure that you guys do have all the information that you need, whether if it's a weekday or the weekend.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else that you think that you need to express right here?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I believe we covered all that. I mean, if you guys do need help, like I said, reach out to us. We have a lot of different capabilities. We have the video call. We have texting capabilities. Whether if you're on site, you can text us photos. If you don't have the opportunity to do a video, shoot us over some photos and tell us what you're seeing. We'll be able to guide you through either what to check next or how to access some of those parts. A lot of the time when you guys are servicing the products, most of the time is trying to figure out how the unit's configured, right? Where do I gotta go in to find these parts? We'll be able to direct you within minutes.
All right. So like I said, Nick, but whenever we were talking before we ever signed on, I don't know if you can you actually see the Tashawn's question, or do you need me to read it to you?
Yeah, I can't see that one.
Okay. It says, good morning. How do I sign up to become a service provider and create an account?
Absolutely. So if you guys do want to sign up to do warranty work, or like I said, we're out of warranty work, you can go ahead and reach us at the number on the screen below. So the 888-775-0202. You could ask for me. My name is Nick. Also, let me go ahead and give you my direct email. So if you guys do want to reach out to me, you could reach out to me directly. My email is N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, ICHALAK@magicchef.com. Go ahead and mention that you joined for the Encompass training, and we'll be able to get you signed up. I'll send you applications, and we'll start sending you guys some work.
Can they reach out through the internet? I noticed that there is you have scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You have the Magic Chef. Is there a link that I can sign up using that?
Absolutely. So you could go on MCAppliance.com. You'll see at the bottom of the page, you'll see a service center portal. You'll have access to sign up. You can also do a chat with us. We do have the chat open from 7:30 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can do a quick chat saying you want to sign up to be an authorized service center. We'll go ahead and send you the information right there, and you could either sign it and send it right back. We require an application and a W-9, so it's fairly simple. You're not scrolling through pages to get you signed up. We get you signed up in the same day.
Great. I think that's a good thing. Deshaun, did that answer your question? So I think that's the end of your presentation. So we're going to swap back over to what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, great, Deshaun. So we're gonna at the very end we're gonna go through the Encompass stuff with Easy Stock. One of the things that I want to talk about today before we get into the dryer. Let me share my page right here. Give me 1 second. Come on. Present. There we go. Share screen. Encompass University. And here we go. So I always like to show what we have coming up. Okay. Our April is basically shot. I didn't bring on anything in the April. We can take a quick look at April. Go all scroll down because this is probably here's today. If you haven't signed up, like the Electrolux top load washer, that's at the Cincinnati Training Center, you can still register for that, and I encourage you to do that. But please go ahead and do it. There's another one that is an Electrolux type load washer. That's going to be on that would be tomorrow. I don't know how they're going to do. Oh, it's both the same one. They have both of them. Okay, then they have LG that is coming in to do a R600 in-person class. That you can do that. That's on the 18th. There's me doing the Manitowoc under-the-counter ice maker. Then they have Anise doing a gas range repair. That is in the 23rd, so that's next week. Okay, how to read a schematic. That's me. That's me down with the Anise virtual class. And then we'll go back and we have the month of May and the month of June are pretty much they're going to be there. We have something in Davie. That's the GE refrigeration and the dishwasher training. One of the things that they're going to talk about is Smart HQ. So that's something that you, if you're in the Miami area, you definitely want to go attend this Davie Florida training. That's in May the 8th. So then on the 4-day seal system in Lawrenceville, we're going to move back up to Lawrenceville, Georgia. That's May the 12th through the 15th. Once again, this is a $975 training. This will get me certified, and we'll have all that done. That's mine. Then in Dallas on May the 13th, they're gonna have Medea there. Then they have the 2-day training for lock ring seal system. That's $500. I'll have to mention these because these are not free. That's at the Lawrenceville Training Center. I will become lock ring certified if I pass all the classes on that one. Okay, let's see. Virtual Medea refrigeration and PTAC training is going to be at the Lawrenceville Training Center the day after my birthday, May 23rd. Okay. Then they have a virtual class that is selling a PMP, preventative maintenance program. I do that about once or twice a year. And this is basically what is a PMP, a preventative maintenance program, and how as a business owner, how do I sell my preventative maintenance program? We have all kinds of things that we use preventative maintenance programs for. It can be a refrigerator, something as simple as changing the water filters, the air filters, going and having once a year cleaning, so that they make sure that everything is optimized. We're going to go through that. That is what's going to happen in May. As you get down to June, I'm going to do this. That's the 4-8 seal system in Lawrenceville. Then we have 2-day lock ring training again in Lawrenceville. That's June the 11th. Lock ring, Scotsman, virtual. Okay, so that's basically what's happening in June. All right, so let's come out of here. I'll stop sharing. Now we're going to talk about what we came for today. Okay, we're going to talk about the 3.5 cubic foot compact dryer. This is the one that Nick had already alluded to on being able to having this basically anywhere, in an RV, in a closet, because this is ventless. The only thing you would have to have in a closet would have to have some way to be able to dry, expel the moisture from the clothes. It could be in somebody's. I've seen them in closets. Whenever I lived in Las Vegas, big master bedroom closets, and they had both washers and dryers in this, and they would it was a really good thing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start talking about the 3.5 cubic foot compact dryer. Nick, I'm going to tell you, if I step on my foot, be sure that you let me know that I've stepped on my foot, and if you have anything to put in, go ahead and stop me, and we'll discuss it. Okay, it's great. It looks like we're up to 3 people. Okay, once again, this is a 3.5 cubic foot compact dryer. Okay, so here's what we're talking about. Like I said, this is only a 120 volt system. It is 60 hertz. Now it is, if you look, it's done in millimeters. It's 600 millimeters by 545 by 820. But if you look at the bottom of the slide, I have changed that, and it is now, you can see that it is into inches, which is the size that it actually is in inches. Okay. The drying capacity, once again, is 6 kilograms, which is 13.23 pounds. Okay. This thing weighs 57 pounds, 57.32 pounds. Okay. So it's not heavy. Nick, is there an ability to put it on casters?
We do not have the ability to put it on casters, but we do have a laundry rack available. So you'd be able to set this at the top of the rack, and you could have either your front load or your top load underneath it.
Okay, there you go. That's what I was trying to say. I know that you shouldn't put this on a caster because of being a dryer. It's gonna wobble.
Right.
So, but does anybody have any questions so far about this dryer? Once again, it's 120 volts. Okay, it will handle 13.23 pounds. You got to think that is light. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. The proper installation. You can actually mount this to a wall. Nick, can you tell me if I'm going to mount this to a wall, why would I mount it to a wall per se?
Well, I mean, like you mentioned earlier here, a lot of customers will end up putting these in larger closets. So they want to kind of hide it over a dresser drawer or something like that. So you could mount this into a small space if you don't have a large room available. So if you have a small studio, a lot of people will kind of throw this in the closet, so it's kind of out of the way.
Okay. So a good example of this is, I don't know where everybody is from. I can tell you that, excuse me, whenever I lived in New York City, this would have been something great because my apartment that I lived in New York City, it was my wife and I, and it was under 600 square feet. It was a tiny little apartment. So this would we actually had to go to the laundromat to do our clothes, but this would be a viable option for being able to do a small loads of clothes. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is I need to determine the position that I'm going to install the mounting hook. Okay, the dryer is not designed to sit on top of your washing machine. Although, Nick, you're telling me that that is possible to put a washing machine underneath it. Okay, but that is kind of a misnomer, is what I'm understanding, right?
Yeah, with our laundry rack, you'd be able to put this unit or any of our compact dryers on the top of that. So, which will have plenty of space underneath it to install your top load or your front load washer.
Right. Okay. So you need a minimum of 2 inches between the top of the dryer and the ceiling above to allow easy installation and equate spacing for exhaust. Okay. That's the main thing that we have to worry about if I'm going to have this dryer installed. Me as a technician, that's one of the probably going to be the first thing that I'm going to check whenever I walk in is, do I have the exhaust requirements that are needed for my washer and my dryer? Because if I don't have those done, it's not going to work properly. In New York, we had a little small. It was a combination washer dryer, and it was terrible. That for the company that I worked for, and it was the same thing. You can't do a whole lot with this dryer as opposed to a regular dryer. This is made for a small area. It's made that you have. The great thing is that you don't have to have a vent system for it. It's vented itself. Okay, so if we're going to use it, we have to use it properly, or else we will never get a drying that is even acceptable. So along with the supplied mounting brackets, it can be installed to the wall directly using the existing wooden studs. Of course, you're going to have to space it out so that you can get it and put the brackets on it. Okay, so here's kind of how you would do it. This is what is recommended by the manufacturer. So we're going to use 2 wooden slats that are not included. We're going to put the 2 studs mount to the hooks. Recommend the wooden slat be 23 inches long and 3 inches high and 1 inch deep. Okay. When using the wooden slats to install the drywall material, you must use expanding wall anchors. Of course, that goes without saying. Once again, I have to make sure that I'm going to hit a stud. Okay. If I have this set up and I'm just having it on the wall anchor, I don't like using a wall anchor for this reason. If I have a dryer on there and I've got, even though it says use an expanding anchor bolt, I've got anchor bolts that supposedly hold 75 pounds, but I wouldn't put this on my dryer because use that to try attach it, because that is going to be a huge problem later on down the road. It's probably going to pull off out of the wall if I have not hit a stud. So we're going to install the wall mounting hooks on the four, using the 4 1-inch Phillips head screws to the top wooden slat. You see it right there on the right-hand side. This is a visual of that. Okay, we're going to then install the 4 wooden screws to the bottom slat. You can see it right there where they're attaching it. Okay, then install the exhaust pipe as shown. The illustration by lining it up with the connector to the back of the dryer. So if you see, they have it done one of 2 ways. Okay, it installs either down or it installs up. Now, the one thing that you need to remember is if I'm installing it up, I may have an issue with lint being blowing a little bit of lint around. So if I'm turning that elbow up, I may have an issue with a little bit of lint that I'm going to get, as you do with any dryer. Okay. Do you want to jump in here, Nick? Have I done a good job of what you wanted to convey with this?
Fantastic here. So regardless of whether if it's up or down, up, you like you mentioned, you will have a little extra lint that would pass through. But I'm sure we'll get into the inner drum lint filter. So the unit does have a filter inside the drum that should catch any lint in the first place. But if customers don't have that on, or if it's not installed properly, like you mentioned, lint will end up coming out of that exhaust connector. So they want to be prepared and ready for that.
Right. Okay. So we install the lower wall spacers that are included. So you see them right there on the right-hand side. You show that's with a 1/2 inch Phillips head. I don't know what a Phillips flathead screw is. I think it means a Phillips head screw. You have to remember that these are written from somebody that doesn't speak English, and so a couple of these you're going to notice a couple of failures, but we're working through those. Okay, so the spacers are required when installing the unit to the wall to allow for the necessary ventilation for the efficiency. Once again, if I have this and I don't have it installed, I have no way for this to vent. So it is imperative that I actually install these spacers so that somebody can't push this dryer all the way to the back. Okay, so if after that you're going to install the wall hanging bracket, you can see it right there. Those are going to be, after you've done that, those are going to be, there's going to be, as you see, that goes through on the back itself. It's not on the side like it kind of appears if you're looking at it. If you're looking at the diagram, those actually go on the back. Okay. So tilting with the assistance of the second person, I can lift this in dryer and then align the mounting holes to the rear of the dryer and use the mounting hooks. Okay. So this, if I'm going to install this, if I'm going to pull this down, I'm going to need to make sure that I have talked to the customer and I know that this is actually installed above something. And that way I know that I need a second person to help me take it down, because it's not hard getting it down. The hard part is getting it up, getting it put back up. And if this is mounted up and I've got a washing machine underneath it, I definitely need another person to help me take it down so I don't damage anything. Okay. So I'm going to tilt the dryer to a 45-degree angle. I'm going to insert the hanging brackets, mounting holes into the dryer as shown in the figure that's on the right there. Then the dryer mounts are in place. I'm going to slowly lower that dryer for installation. If you see those two wall spacers. That's what I'm mounting that bracket to, is those wall spacers, so that it does not allow it to, it doesn't allow for me to be able to push it back. Okay. So here is my normal control panel. Okay. One thing that you notice is that the second button over says de-wrinkle. I will tell you that whenever I'm using something like this, I love that feature of de-wrinkle. I can actually take it in. Let's say that I have washed and dried my shirt, and I hung it up, but it's still got I still have some wrinkles in it. I can put this into de-wrinkle. It will start, and I can de-wrinkle my clothes, and then it comes out. It's fresh. The only problem is if you live in Miami, it's a little hot, but that's okay too. Once again, and then once I did hit the de-wrinkle, I would hit the start button. I'd let it run through the cycle. It would give me a buzz. I can go and pull my shirt out, and it works great. Could be a pair of pants too. But so the next object that I'm going to try to touch on is, what do I need? I've got extra dry, I've got normal dry, I've got less dry, and then I have a 1 hour dry. Okay, so to get that, I'm going to hit the power button. I'm going to scroll up or down and check whichever one I want, whatever program I want. Then I'm going to move over to the temperature. Of course, it's going to be high, medium, or low. If I have a normal dry and I have it set on low, that is going to extend the time, and I may end up with wet clothes because it times out. Okay. After I get done there, I'm going to hit the start button. After I've programmed everything in, I just hit the start button. Nick, what is the maximum time that this will dry?
Yeah, I mean, the unit's going to go upwards of 90 minutes or so on the max load. So you're going to have a longer cycle than normal. But one thing I also wanted to point out is the control panel itself has a locking feature. Right. So customers that have these small kids, they can lock this control board so they're not going and starting the units as well. But all of the dry cycles, they're going to be based on humidity. So what it's going to do is it's going to pull the humidity out of the system as well. So extra dry, normal dry, and less dry, you're going to hit that 35 to 40% humidity level. The 1 hour dry is not going to go based on humidity. It's just going to go off of that high heat.
Right. Good catch. And that was going to be my next thing, was going to be to talk about the lock, which is great. Okay. So here's kind of just the basic. This is actually from their customer installation guide. So all I did was pull the information off of theirs. So of course, turn the power on by pressing the power button. The unit will beep, and a light above the button will come on, indicating the power button is being supplied. This power is being supplied to the dryer. Then we're going to go to the default setting. If I don't want it to be extra dry and high, I will need to program that out, just like what we said. Once I get done, I can just press the button and turn the power off. Once it's done, de-wrinkle. This is what we had talked about. Press the power button to de-wrinkle for the program. To any dry cycle, the program will add 10 extra minutes of air dry cycle after the selected drying program. I'm going to use this during only air cool will generate, which that's just an air cool feature that is in there. Okay, so how am I going to do it? We kind of already touched this. Once again, I'm going to turn the dryer on. Then I'm going to check my sensors, going to tell it which one I want it to dry on. And the only thing that it doesn't use the sensors for is the 1 hour dry. Okay. That runs the minute for a set time. Okay. So it will run an extra 60 minutes, 50 to 60 minutes on full power heating at a 10-minute of air cool. Okay. So the temperature, if I'm going to do that, I can go and I've got high, medium, and low. We've got all of that. We have a start and pause. Let me ask you this, Nick. So I have one of the things that in my career, we actually used to have customers that would bring stuff to our shop. I mean, this would probably be a good thing for them to bring in. So if I'm a customer and I wanted to bring it in, what is the difference in the labor rate between going to the customer's home and having it and the customer bringing it into my shop?
Yeah, for carrying it in home, there's really a small difference on there. It's about a $20 difference for actually doing the work on it. But realistically, it'll save you the time, it'll save you the gas and the effort to go to the customer's home if the customer's willing to bring it inside your shop. So if you have it in a shop, you have to look at it as convenience as well. They're trusting to drop that off with you and get that repaired.
Right. So being a technician and us having a shop where we did shop repairs, one of the things that I will tell you is whenever I do this, I need to go over this with a fine-tooth comb. I probably want to take pictures whenever it's being brought into the shop. That way, when the customer comes back and says, hey, there's a dent right there, that wasn't there, I can revert back to my pictures and say, well, actually, yes, Mr. Customer, it was there. Here's the pictures that I can show you. Because customers don't know. They don't pay any attention. They can damage it, go bringing it to you. But you just need to cover yourself. Okay? So here is my drying time reference chart. Okay, so my drying capacity, so 4.5 pounds, regular high, that gives me 60 minutes. If I just use an air dry or the low setting, that gives me 90 minutes. Okay, if I have 9 pounds, I get a total of 150 minutes. If I go to the maximum drying, that gives me, which is 13 pounds, that gives me 200 minutes. Okay. So go ahead.
Sorry, one thing I wanted to kind of touch up on there is that you got to remember with these dry times, it depends on obviously how much you have in there, but it also depends on your heat cycle. If you have that low heat cycle, you're going to get those longer dry times. And we also have to remember at the end of every cycle, you're going to have that cool down period. So when it does finish, the door is going to unlock right away.
Right. So let me ask you this, Nick. So I've got 13 pounds and I've got a 200 minute cycle.
Yep.
Okay. So does it beep before it goes into air dry or after it goes into the air dry setting?
So it'll beep at the after point. So once the cycle is finished, that's when you'll get a cycle of 3 beeps, letting you know that it's ready to be done, and then you'll hear that click from the door unlock.
Okay. So that's something that the customer needs to be aware of, that it only beeps after, which is what I thought. Although it would be kind of cool if it did it before and then after. But that gets into the engineering, and I don't want to mess with the engineering. Okay, so Nick had mentioned the lint filter assembly. Okay, it's very important that this gets cleaned. If I do not clean this, I'm never gonna get things dry. Okay, this just like any other lint filter in any other dryer. If we don't clean the lint filter, we have problems. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you use a lot of, let's say, I'll tell you a perfect example. My dad loves to take and throw 3 sheets of the lint, the to keep the wrinkles out. What am I looking for? Um, the
The dryer sheets?
huh?
Just dryer sheets?
Dryer sheets, yeah.
Yeah.
So if I use a whole lot of dryer sheets with this, I am going to have to clean it more often than I don't, because what will happen is it actually turns into, it will not pass the lint, the air, it just will not pass through the lint filter. So I'm going to have to take this and I'm going to clean it with my cleaner. After that, I need to go ahead and take and put this under a little bit of water just to make sure that it has not got all of this lint sheet is not attached now to the lint filter itself. Okay, that's just a tip that you need to be aware of, and that's with any dryer. My nephew called me, and he evidently does the same thing as my dad, and he just throws his three lint sheets in because it actually, it helps my clothes smell better, is what he said. But you, after a while, you get this buildup, and you have to go in and you have to clean it. What do you clean it with? There are various products out there. I'll tell you that the easiest thing that I can do is I can take my spray bottle with a basic cleaner in it. I can spray it. I need to make sure that I totally wash it off. You could use something as easy as white vinegar, which is about the same thing that you use to clean your coffee pot with, and that will help get rid of the buildup for the lint. Anybody have any questions right now? Anything you need to add, Nick?
Just one thing I want to mention here. It's just a little bit of a troubleshooting tip. So the unit does have a built-in TCO in there. So if the dryer does overheat, it will end up shutting itself down. So the first thing I would do if I arrived to the customer's home and they said this thing's only running for a few minutes and then it totally goes blank, I'm going to check this lint filter. It's a good chance a lot of the customers, especially if it's a ground level unit, they're not going to bend down all the time to clean this lint filter. So we want to make sure that we educate the customers, and we want to make sure they know to clean these lint filters every 2 to 3 loads. If it is built up, you're going to have no airflow coming out of the back of the unit. So that heat is going to make that unit overheat at that point and shut it down. So I'd be first checking this lint filter if any overheating issues.
Right. And this is as a resettable thermostat, correct?
This is. So they could reset it on the back of the unit. They'd end up having to pull the plate off. So if a customer does end up calling us and saying that this unit's overheating, what we're going to do is we're going to contact a service technician to have them go out there and do it for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, once I get done, I'm going to just reassemble it in the same manner that I had disassembled. I'm going to have to take the exhaust vent shroud off, then put the lint filter in, and then put the exhaust filter in there. Okay. So air intake filter, we all know that if I do not take care of my air intake, I am going to have the same problems. Okay. So the dryer should be cleaned regularly, including the air intake filter. I'm going to use the assembly as we show right here. I'm going to remove it by pulling it forward with the upper and lower ends of the air intake shown that you see right here. Okay, the air intake filter consists of two parts, the air intake shroud and the intake filter itself. Okay, so I'm going to remove that shroud. Then I'm going to take it. I'm going to clean it. You can see that it does come with a little brush. I probably also have a little. If I'm a technician, I'm going to use a soft bristle brush to take care of that. Okay, so let me come down. Does anybody have any questions? I heard something beep, and I just wanted to make sure that I had everybody's question taken care of. Okay, so I'm going to remove the air intake shroud. I'm going to clean the filter using a soft brush or a vacuum cleaner. I'm going to reassemble the air intake, and I like it said, this needs to be done about every 3 or 4 loads, right, Nick?
Yeah, around that range would be just fine.
So the customer will actually have to get down into the dryer, which is what Nick was talking about. With this being a very small dryer, this would be a good time to have a child that's old enough to be able to bend down and get almost into the dryer to pop it off. Okay, so our buttons don't work. If I have this problem, what are my possible causes? The dryer's not plugged in. That pretty much goes without saying. That's because nothing's going to work. The circuit breaker is tripped or the fuse blew. Check for the circuit fuse or the trip main breaker. The door may not be closed. If the door is closed and we've got everything else is working, the next thing I'm going to be doing if I'm a technician is I'm going to actually check this door switch to make sure that it is operating properly. Then we have the power button was not pressed to turn the dryer on. That's one of the other options. Like I said, many of these are go without saying. Okay. The dryer does not operate, so the dryer is not plugged in properly. One of the other causes is the circuit breaker is tripped again, and then the other one was the door was not closed properly. Okay, the dryer drum does not rotate. The dryer is not plugged in. The circuit breaker is tripped. The door is not closed. There's also a whole bunch. This is what the customer would check. We don't want the customer doing anything other than what we're talking about. We're going to get down in several of the other slides. Excuse me. And we're going to do as a technician, we're going to do what we show as things that they need to look at. So the laundry is not completely dry. This is probably going to be your number one complaint, is the laundry is not completely dry. Okay, I'm going to verify the correct drying setting was used. I'm going to clean the filter, reduce the load to the dryer. This is something that is a constant issue if you're using a smaller load, because people still want to try to cram stuff in, and you can't. This dryer cannot be overloaded. You run into this exact problem. Either that, or they complain that the unit has excessive wrinkles that comes on and that's usually because they have so many clothes pushed in to the dryer, they've exceeded the maximum load. You've got to remember that 13 pounds is wet. Okay, it's not the dry 13 pound. It's 13 pounds that it will handle with the clothes being wet. Okay. Dry the items further in the time dry mode for an excessive 10 minutes. You may have to run it a total cycle again. But once again, you're probably going to have the complaint of it's taking too long to dry, and my clothes are coming out really wrinkled. That's going to be your kind of hint that that's just what the problem is. So if I'm a technician, I'm actually going to have the customer show me exactly how much laundry they're doing. Uh, I may have them ask them to wash a load of clothes before I get out there so that I can actually see what they're washing. And then I know for a fact that they're not trying to overload it, because they'll tell you that they're not overloading the washing machine, and I mean not overloading the dryer, but they don't really realize that it's not dry clothes, it's wet clothes that you can only use 13 pounds on. Okay, so then we're going to ensure that the items are not knotted or bulk or twisted together. The dryer is not located in a properly ventilated area. Once again, if they didn't put the brackets on it, they probably pushed it all the way up against the wall, and it's not allowing for the air to escape. That's why it's not completely dry. I'm going to make sure that the washer spin cycle is extracting the proper water. But once again, that also helps me if I have them run the load. I can tell that, well, the washing machine is not really operating properly, so this is my problem. Okay, there is a limited warranty. Okay, it warranties their compact dryer to be free from defects and materials and workmanship, and agrees to remedy any defect and furnish a new part at the company option for parts that have failed during the warranty period. So the warranty covers appliances within the continuous United States, Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. The warranty does not cover the following. Does not. Damages due to the shipping damage or improper installation. Okay. Damage due to misuse and abuse. Content losses due to a failure of the unit. So it does not cover the contents. Repairs performed by an unauthorized service agent. So if you get there, that's one of the things that you need to ask was, is this the first time the problem has ever happened? If it was, if it's not, and it's been a problem, you know the people in your area that do warranty. You can actually call or they have a text feature, and you can call them, and they can MC Appliance can tell you if they are a warranty provider. And that may be something that you need to kind of be careful whenever you broach that subject with the customer, but you need to still be firm and let the customer know that they need to call you because I'm an authorized servicer. Okay. Service calls that do not involve defect materials, workmanship, or proper usage of the product. Once again, that goes with a lot of the other manufacturers that are out there. Replacement or resetting of home fuses or the circuit breakers. Of course, that's not covered under warranty. Failure of the product used for other purposes than its intended purpose. One of the things would be like this small dryer. You probably shouldn't use it in a setting such as a hairdresser. We used to have the company one of the companies that I worked for. We had a hairdresser, and they would call all the time because the clothes wouldn't be dry, and it was blowing the fuses because of the hair that got in there. And it actually, we had a fire, and they were trying to say that it was our company's fault because they had a fire in the dryer itself. So you have to be careful of those. You have to be cognizant, and you have to let this customer know if I'm in an area where this is not what this dryer is intended to do. You have to let that customer know that. I'm not able to cover it. Okay. Removal and reinstallation of the appliances that's installed. So once again, the customer can't bring it to your shop and try to charge them MC Appliance for removing it. It also refunds for non-repairable products are limited to the price paid for the unit per the sales receipt. Okay. The warranty is not transferable. So if I buy this and I sell it later on because I didn't like it or something else, that gets rid of any warranty that was there. So I actually have to be the customer that purchased it. So that's one of the other things that we all need to be cognizant of. Okay. So they have a very basic wiring schematic. Okay. We have a sensor that goes to the board. This is the sensor that Nick was talking about. Okay. This is the sensor that if it heats up and it's not being cleaned, this sensor trips. This is a resettable sensor. Okay. If you look, there are two single pole, single throw switches that are contained in the door switch. So you have to be very careful with that. Now, if I am the technician, okay, I'm going to have to go and I'm going to have to check. Let's say that I need to check my motor. Okay. Number one, that flows directly through the door switch, as it always has on every other motor that's out there. Okay. So number one, I've got to know that my door switch is working properly. Okay. So I'm going to check my power, which is the yellow wire to the motor. And then I'm going to go between, depending on which setting is used, I'm going to go either the blue wire or the red wire. If you notice, coming out of the control board, it is a black wire and a red wire. It stays in. Once it gets to the capacitor, those wires change. Okay. And like I said, it's either the black wire becomes a blue wire, but the red wire stays the same. This is a very simple wiring schematic. It should not have any problems at all for you to be able to go out and check it. You just need to make sure, like I said, I'm going to check the door switch is probably the first thing that I'm going to check. I'm doubting that the capacitor is probably going to be my problem. That's going to be way on down the road. That's not going to be within the warranty period, I would hope. If there has been the motor has been abused, you could have a capacitor that will go bad. Like I said, this is a pretty simple wiring schematic, but just so that we're all talking the same thing, does anybody have any questions about this schematic? Nick, do I need to bring up anything else?
No, we're good on the schematic.
Okay, let me touch one other thing that just came to mind. Is this a ribbon connector that goes in the touchpad?
It is.
Okay. So everybody knows the trick, right? If I get something and I'm not getting what I have uh, mashed on this ribbon connect, if I'm on the board, I'm going to probably go to the ribbon connector. I'm going to remove it from the board. I'm going to take that and find myself a eraser, like a pencil eraser. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to clean that, and then I insert it exactly like it was whenever I pull it out, and then I can go back, and a lot of the times that will fix my improper board. Okay, so if there's no other questions, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move along. Okay. Here's the bottom side of that, of course. Sorry, I had to cut it in half. I had forgotten that. There's a power source, which is 110 volts. You do have a linkable fuse. Then I'm going to go to the thermostat. Those are the two brown wires. Then we have the white wire changes to a blue wire right there at the J3N connector. Okay, that changes to a blue wire. Okay, then that goes to the PTC heater. It has another thermostat that is going. So this unit has two thermostats that are in it. Of course, those are all red wires. It's 110 volts, just like we said. So that is exactly what the schematic shows. Once again, there's no response whenever I press the buttons. It's a socket plugged firmly into the wall. I would hope I would know that because I have no power to it anyway. The drum doesn't turn. Once again, is the door closed? Is the door switch working? As a technician, I'm going to look for that. Is the plug inserted? I'm going to know that because I'm going to have something in the display. If I don't, then I can do it. Is the receptacle have power? That's going without saying. If I don't, that's one of the things. If I don't have if my unit is plugged in, then I'm going to, of course, take it out and check my receptacle. Okay. If I have no hot air coming out, we have to first thing that they want you to check is the air. So I'm going to check I'm going to put it on a cycle and go ahead and check it. I'm going to select the air temperature, probably the high. I'm going to turn it on and see if I get warm air. The dryer is not drying thoroughly. This is what I was telling you. That's going to be probably one of your major complaints. And right there, it tells you to check the filter. Okay, is there too much laundry in the dryer? This is one of the other things that we had already talked about. Have items been added when the dryer is in operation? What's one of the things with this being a 110 volt unit? We want to discourage anybody adding clothes after the unit is started and has a lot of the time, like halfway. If I'm already halfway through the cycle, I don't want to add anything. Okay. Has the laundry been twisted while drying? Of course, you have to untwist it and re-dry it. That goes without saying. Okay, has the dryer been placed in the small and badly ventilated area? They want you to replace it into a well-ventilated area. The main thing is going to be that the unit is either the filter's dirty or there's too many clothes that are being put into the dryer. Okay, the dryer does not start. Once again, is there a power failure? Is the cord put in properly? Is the door closed? Just simple things that you could ask the customer. Okay, the dryer runs, but after some time, the running drum is still not cooled. I've covered this on a different slide. There it is. Okay. So I have no response when pressing the start button. Is the power cord plugged in firmly to the outlet? Of course, if it's not, I'm going to plug it in. If I have no response whenever pressing the start button, first thing I'm going to check is the breaker trip. If I have no response at all, is the fuse blown? So I'm going to have to, once I do that, I'm going to have to take it apart and see if the fuse is blown. That is not a resettable thermostat. I mean, a fuse, correct, Nick?
It is not, right.
That's a one. That's a one and blow.
That's a one and done.
Yep. Okay. The drum does not turn. The dryer does not start. Okay. Here's what I would say. Does the unit have power? That goes without saying. The drum does not turn. The dryer doesn't start. This is all the same thing. Is the door switch closed? So that's one of the other things that I'm going to check. If the drum doesn't turn at all, I'm going to check my door switch. The fuse, the drum doesn't turn. Is the fuse blown? One of the other things that you need to be aware of is it could be a high limit thermostat. And then is there power to the heater? So those are three things right there that you need to look at. The other thing that it could be is it could have a broken belt, or the belt could have come off. So I need to. That's one of the problems that I'm going to have to do as a technician. Is I'm going to have to probably go down and look into the belt to see if if it's the pulleys, if it's off the pulley. If I need to replace the belt, those are all parts that we have. So those are easily repairable. If I get something that's not drying the clothes, the first thing I'm going to do is adjust the temperature. I'm going to use the correct temperature setting. Are there too many clothes? Again, that's something that we had already talked about. Not dry. The clothes been added before the load is completed. Once again, if it has been more than probably 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to, especially if I have it set on the lowest time, I can't do that. So has the laundry become twisted? Of course, you're going to have to untwist it and re-dry it. Is the dryer vent properly? So that's something I'm going to have to check. Not drying the clothes. The heating coil could be shorted. Not drying the clothes. Once again, though, getting back to that, it could simply be that the lint filter is clogged. So I'm going to have to make sure that I have the lint filter unclogged. I'm going to check the power coming into the board and check power coming out of the board. That way I know that the power or the board is actually working properly. I'm going to check the touchpad to make sure that I get the correct signal. Then once again, the air vent option comes back up. Once again, the not drying the clothes continued on to the next page here. Has the laundry become twisted? That's something else that I want to check. Is the dryer vented properly? Is the drum turning? Is the heating coil shorted? Are the vents clogged? This is just all items that you need to go and check. Okay. Is the vent clogged? I repeated that one because that's one of the things that you definitely are going to have, and you're going to have to with a dryer like this, you're going to have to check it and make sure that your technicians are checking those. Not drying the clothes. Check the front and the rear drum seals. That's another thing. One of the other things that if I get spots on my clothes, I'm definitely going to check the front and the rear drum seals. That could be an indication that my drum seals have gone bad, and I'm going to have to replace those. That brings me to another question, Nick. So I've replaced my drum seals. If I'm a technician, is the seal that seals the front and the rear drum, is that replaceable, or do I have to order a drum?
So we don't carry the full drums. If the unit has any damage to the drum itself, as far as being dented, cracked, things like that, we're going to end up taking care of the customer on the back end with a refund or a replacement. But if the seals are damaged, those are replaceable parts. We carry those at both Encompass and through Partstown. You'd be able to order those.
Okay. So then, not drying the clothes, one of the things you're going to check is the fan. If something happens and I have a noise, okay, is the unit level? That's the first thing I would check. Once again, one of the things that you're going to be able to hear as soon as you start it is going to be a bearing issue. Now, I did not include a breakdown of parts, but this bearing, Nick, what is the normal? Do you know if it's the normal repair time on a bearing? Is that like most others, and it's into like 45 minutes?
Bearings on this unit are actually pretty accessible. So I would say 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. But that goes back to the customer telling the servicer, and then the servicer understands that I'm going to have a bearing issue, so I may need to add a little more time to the call. So don't have the service technician out there and have him stacked right on top of each other, because like all things like that, you need to make sure that you have plenty of time excuse me, for the technician. Okay. Once again, a noise issue, it could be a pulley. We'd already talked about that. You can grease or replace the pulley as needed. You can use it. I'm sure that, do you have your own grease, or can they use just like wheel bearing grease?
You could definitely use the wheel bearing grease. We do not carry the grease. I mean, most of the techs will have that on hand. So if you're getting that noise issue and it's coming from, the pulley, you could definitely use that grease to get that taken care of. But noise issues, I could tell you from experience on working on these, a lot of them are going to end up being either the bearing itself, or there's going to be that front disc seal, which is that front seal in the front of the drum.
Okay. So the unit will not stop turning. Once again, that could be a door switch issue. Then the unit will not, the board could be shorted. Once again, I'm going to have to check that. I'll know that whenever I go in, and of course, I don't want to have to sit there and check it for the whole entire 90-minute cycle. I want to make sure that whenever I talk to the customer, that I'm gonna try to broach that with the customer. How long did the dryer run? How long? This is probably not going to be a huge issue with a board. Are your board failures in line with everybody else's, Nick? About less than 10%.
Yeah, I mean, we're roughly 5 to 7%. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then the last part of this is we're just going to talk about Encompass. We're going to talk about their Easy Stock app. Of course, this is one of the great things that I really love about Encompass is that they give me a stock app that I can, at no charge to me. The only thing I have to have is an account with them. You can go out and go to YouTube, go and put in Easy Stock app Encompass parts, and it will give you a couple of videos out there. Right here is the QR codes that I can scan, and it will give me the Encompass app. I love this app. Here's one of the YouTube videos. I'll get it out in a minute, man. So if anybody has any questions, you can contact me, and I'll get you the information for an Easy Stock app. Tashawn, I totally agree with you. I know exactly what you're talking about. You have to really kind of beat that into people's heads sometimes that they just can't do it. Does anybody have any other questions? And Tashawn, it looks like you're the only one left in the class. Well, I want you to hang on. Nick, thank you for your participation. There's about a minute and 30-second ending to this. So this will tell you about Encompass Smarts, where they're located, that kind of stuff. But Nick, thank you again. I really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get started. If anybody needs to reach me, my number's scrolling across the bottom. Nick's in a number. You can reach him at www.mcappliance.com, or you can contact him via 888-775-0202. Everybody have a great afternoon and have a great weekend. We'll see you next time. Thanks again, Nick.
Thank you, Mitch.